Hey everybody, my name is SPAZ and I'm a CD Junkie. On this episode of CD Junkie, this is going to be a crossover with my Comically Speaking YouTube series. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase music-related comic books that I think some of you might be interested in. A few months back, I did do an episode where I featured a lot of music-related comic books. And I'll show you a few of those now because I want to show you those, and then I've gotten some since then. But here's one of my most favorites. This is Strange Tales, and it features the Human Torch and the Thing meeting the Beatles. Right there. And then my friend Alan Pecci from Texas, who's also a comic book collector, is also a very kind man. He actually sent me 3 comic books which blew my mind. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. And see how it mentions the Beatles and Elvis on the front, and of course Superman doing the Krypton crawl. Yeah. That is absolutely wonderful. I love when my worlds collide. Music, comic books. Here's another issue of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen that Alan sent me. And look at that. There's reference to the Beatles, of course, on the front, and the yeahs at the bottom. And finally, the third one that Alan sent me. Thank you again, Alan. I know that I've thanked you a few times, but I'm thanking you again. And this is a classic Batman issue with references to the Paul is dead rumors. So, of course, Batman is the detective, and he's going to try to solve the problem. I'm not going to tell you what the answer is. You have to find your own copy. Now, here's some things that I've received since that episode I did a few months ago. Here's a copy of the Jerry Lewis comic book, and inside there's one panel with the Beatles. That's right. I bought this whole issue for that one panel. So that's Jerry Lewis and the Beatles. Then there's an issue of Archie. Now, this issue of Archie does not feature the Beatles. It features the Bottles and Bingo Scar. This issue, Dave Downey from World's Best Comics here in Sacramento knows that I love this kind of, Beatles in comic books and music in comic books. So he actually was able to get a copy of this for me, and I really appreciate that, Dave. Here's a couple other things that Dave got me. Like I said, he knows I love when my worlds collide, and here's an issue of Mad, which features the Beatles and Elvis and Sinatra and Bob Dylan and a bunch of people on the cover there. Now, this originally came with a record, but the record didn't come with this one, but I was glad just to get this. I was very grateful and happy that Dave set that aside for me. Thank you, Dave. Not only that one, but he also set aside this one for me. Here's another issue of Mad Magazine with the Beatles, of course, doing the Maharishi Meshi Hoshi Yoshi Moshi. And there's that. And another local shop, A1. Jared there spotted this and showed it to me, and I just immediately had to get it. Herman's Hermits in this issue of Time for Love. And I think that's just absolutely fantastic. This is building up to something here. A few years back, I was able to grab this copy of Back Issue. It's called the Rock and Roll Comics issue, and this has stories about the Kiss comic book and all these very Partridge Family comic book. But in there, I saw something that melted my mind. While they're talking about the Partridge Family things, they mentioned the COWSILLS. Can you see that? Right there. I never knew that existed, and it's been over 2 years. And I have been searching every comic book shop, every comic book convention that I go to for a copy of that COWSILLS comic book, because I am a COWSILLS fan. Of course, everybody knows the COWSILLS from the hits, The Rain in the Park and other things. I've got some COWSILLS CDs, of course. This is where the CD Junkie part comes in. This is a bootleg of a bootleg, I think, unfortunately. I didn't realize it when I was buying these at the time. But this has the first 2 albums plus bonus tracks. This has the 3rd and 4th album plus bonus tracks. And here is a legit Now Sounds edition of On My Side with bonus tracks. And of course I have a Best of the COWSILLS, which I think I have everything on it on the other CDs, but I still need it in my collection. And then finally, yes, the COWSILLS did reunite a few times, and in fact, they're putting out a new album in 2020. But this album came out in the 90s. I think it was recorded in the early 90s, and then it came out about 94 or whatever. And it's fantastic pop. It doesn't have those sunshine pop harmonies, but it does have great harmonies. It's great songs. I mean, power pop fans would like this, as well as COWSILLS fans. So why do I bring up the COWSILLS? Well, because remember I showed you that COWSILLS in there? Well, about a month ago, my friend Darian, some of you may know him as the keyboard player in Brian Wilson's band and in the Zombies, but I know him as my friend Darian. I saw on Facebook that he had 2 copies of the COWSILLS. So I asked him, Darian, please, if you see another one, please let me know. Now, he sends me this little package here. Beautifully. I mean, he's creative in so many ways. But this is a Ray Conniff album. In fact, my favorite Ray Conniff Christmas album features the song Count Your Blessings, which really reminds me of my mom and my family. And in this package, now this was delivered by Ronnie Barnett, who is another friend, and he's also a great guy. This was hand-delivered. Ronnie came up from L.A. to Sacramento, and look what he gave me. This is from Darian. I now own the COWSILLS comic book. This is so amazing. I mean, I have these great friends. I mean, I don't have anything to offer except maybe making mixtapes, and I am forever grateful. So now I own the COWSILLS comic book. I own all these great comic books that Alan Pecci gave me, that Dave from World's Best set aside for me. But this is such an amazing piece. I thank you so much, Darian. I thank you, Alan. I thank you, everybody. I know sometimes I can have a shitty attitude, but I always have gratitude. Just remember, I encourage all of you to go out and practice the attitude of gratitude. Even if you're matitude or satitude, you always need to feel gratitude. And here you go, the COWSILLS, the Beatles, everything. I appreciate all of you for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And until the next time, smell you later.